Happy Monday, and welcome into the PHNX Sun Devils show. I'm Anthony Totri. It's just me alongside the one, the only DJ Jacob Franklin behind the Mac, making all the magic happen. Guys, if you're new here, do us a favor. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave a 5-star review throughout the podcast. Let us know what you enjoy about what we're doing here over on the PHNX Sun Devils show. Hope everybody had a phenomenal weekend. Let's run the music a little bit. Let's keep it going just a little bit longer. It's just so damn good. And it's Monday, guys. We got a lot to get into today. We've, of course, got our Pac-12 power rankings at the tail end of the show. We're going to be talking ASU hoops and Bobby Hurley. Maybe it's time for a change a little bit later on. And then we've got some grades. Some grades for all the changes.
We're certainly not going to piss anybody off.
No, of course, everybody's going to agree. Everybody's going to agree with me per usual because that's what everybody
does. Because you're supposed to always agree.
Exactly.
That's why political parties, they all agree.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Everybody is on the same page at all times, especially when it comes to sports. We're going to go through four college football coaching changes and grades that I'm going to be giving for those teams. Look, before the show even started, we had BCAT in the chat asking which team is most likely going to challenge for its conference championship, Alabama, Washington, or Arizona. Saul knows the correct answer. I mean, look, we'll get into each one of these programs here in a second. Of course, we've got Donald here. I'm sure we're going to have some other PHNX diehards trickling in the chat as well, but we appreciate everybody stopping by today, whether you're listening live or maybe you're listening on your way home, or maybe you're listening to work, to the gym, at the gym. Regardless, we appreciate you. But let's go ahead. JJ just immediately spawning talking ASU hoops. It's incredible.
He loves himself some ASU hoops.
It's incredible what he does.
He or she, I'll give him credit.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Don't worry, JJ. We will get into ASU hoops a little bit later on in the show, but I do want to start off with some of these coaching grades. Let's go ahead, kick it off with the one that everybody is going to totally agree with. Jedd Fisch to Washington. I'm going to go ahead, give this hire an A- for the Washington Huskies. Obviously, there's a lot of folks in Tucson that aren't going to be too excited and too happy about the one, the only Jedd Fisch moving on from Washington. But I think you look specifically at the last 3 years with the Arizona Wildcats in what Fisch was able to accomplish in Tucson. The Arizona Wildcats had the worst football program in the nation just a few years ago, and it wasn't particularly close. Okay, Jedd Fisch had to follow the fumble of Kevin Sumlin and turn this program around. Now, in year one, in 2021, Arizona was 1-11. You look the improvement in 2022, they moved to 5-7, and then in 2023, of course, Jedd Fisch and the Arizona Wildcats had their giant jump, 10-3. They were finished, I believe, 11 in the AP Top 25, won the Alamo Bowl, beat Oklahoma. Jedd Fisch knows how to coach football. He's a good football coach, and that's what this grade is, right? From a football standpoint, from what Jedd Fisch can do for Washington, I think is good. I think Jedd Fisch, realistically, was probably the best that Washington was going to do that late in the game. You lose, obviously, a talented coach in Kalen DeBoer going to Alabama. You're, of course, going to lose some players when your head coach opts to go to a better program and a better conference and a better school. That's what happened with Washington. But on the field, in what Jedd Fisch does, he wins. Jedd Fisch is a winner. Now, again, you could say some things about the staff. I know it looks like he's going to hire Bill Belichick's son to be the defensive coordinator, which is a unique hire.
He loves Bill Belichick, but that's because that's where he came from. He came from the Belichick coaching tree.
And I think, look, Jedd Fisch, regardless of what Arizona fans want to say, I think he is a good football coach. and I think they will win at Washington. Will he do it the way DeBoer did? I'm not necessarily sure if you're going to have Jedd Fisch leading Washington back to the college football playoff, especially in year one. But all he does is win, man. All Jedd Fisch does is win. We got Sharon in the chat. JJ, no one more diehard for ASU basketball than you. Absolutely. JJ, ASU basketball is your drug that you just can't quit, man. You can't quit it, and I don't blame you. ASU hoops is interesting, okay? It's interesting. I'm not going to say it's good, because it's not.
Is it still?
It's a roller coaster. It's
interesting.
It's a roller coaster.
Yeah, it's interesting to talk about now, because I feel like you can finally start to get to the conversation on whether or not a year after getting his extension, Bobby Hurley is.
Oh, and we'll get into that. We will absolutely get into that. I'm excited for it, man. I'm excited. We haven't talked ASU hoops like real talk in a minute. But moving on from Jedd Fisch in Washington to the guy that was originally at Washington and was the second domino to fall after Nick Saban retired, Kalen DeBoer to Alabama. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to give that a B. And look, Kalen DeBoer, similar to Jedd Fisch. What does he do? Well, he wins everywhere he goes. Okay? Fresno State was 3-3 in 2020. Fresno State 9-3 in 2021. Immediately when he got to Washington in 2022, it was an 11-2 football team. In 2023, 14-1 college football playoff. Second best team in the country. Okay? Kalen DeBoer is one of, if not the best coach in college football as it stands right now. Now, I know there are arguments for Dan Lanning. There are arguments for Kirby Smart. But I think when it comes to just pure football, I'm not sure if there's anybody that I like more on the rise in college football than Kalen DeBoer. Like I said, Kirby Smart probably, now that we're having this discussion, is the best coach in college football. But Kalen DeBoer he's a damn good coach. And I think Alabama, again, did the best that they could in that time, being that Mike Norvell and Dan Lanning didn't necessarily appear eager to go to Tuscaloosa. Because how can you replace Nick Saban, right? And that's why DeBoer gets a B from me, is because you are never going to surpass what Nick Saban did at Alabama, especially if you're the coach like DeBoer that has to immediately follow. And you saw the moment that Saban retired, the number of five-star players, five-star recruits that opted to hit the portal, that opted to look elsewhere and ended up elsewhere. Ohio State, Texas, Georgia. Why? Because they know the pedigree, right? Alabama was getting a different level of player year in and year out under Nick Saban. Will they continue to do it? Maybe. But until Kalen DeBoer proves that from a recruiting standpoint, he can keep up with what Nick Saban built at Alabama, I don't think you can really give him anything higher than a B. And again, what's the drop-off, right? Alabama year over year has been a CFP team. They have been a national championship contender every single season. Does Kalen DeBoer keep it up? It's the same question we just asked of Jedd Fisch at Washington. Will he be able to keep that program afloat in the way that his predecessor did? Potentially. But realistically, Kalen DeBoer has arguably the toughest task of the four coaches that we're going to be talking about. Short bus in the chat. Jedd Fisch Sticks is like every U of A fan's dad. Said he was going out for MILF and ended up in another state with someone hotter than his ex. That's tough. That's tough, man.
Yikes.
just a yikes. Just a yikes. Sharon, he's a great coach. Hard to follow behind Nick Saban, but I think he will be good at Bama. Look, it's certainly going to be an interesting college football season next year. I think the storylines going into next year with the coaching changes, the retirements, the transfers, the fact that the CFP is expanded now, it's going to be you could argue next college football season is going to be the most anticipated college football season in the last 20 years. The greatest head coach in college football history retired. How many dominoes fell after that? Washington, Arizona, San Jose State, Boston College still looking for a coach. Right?
Yeah, Wildcat Fields makes a good point. You want to be the guy who replaces the guy that replaced the guy.
Yeah, absolutely, because you set yourself up, right? You set yourself up beyond Washington. And I know it's already kind of a joke about Jedd Fisch and how long is he going to be with the Washington Huskies, but realistically, If he wins at Washington, following Kalen DeBoer, the next prime time spot that opens up in the Big Ten, maybe it's Ohio State, right? We know that Jedd Fisch in that Florida job, they flirted before. Like, we'll see what happens, but Wildcat Fields makes a great point. You want to be the guy who replaces the guy who replaced the guy. Alexis in the chat. So you don't do post-game shows after ASU basketball losses. Got it. Look, we used to. Most of this season, we did ASU basketball post-game shows, but for a variety of different reasons, we opted to kind of stray away from them. We could discuss that a little bit more when we get into the ASU basketball conversation. But again, it's not just the fact that the team isn't very good. There are a couple different reasons as to why everything has transpired. Share it in the chat. Totri, always needing to pre-read all the comments from Short Bus before committing to reading them on air. Absolutely. I've been got in the past. So yes, definitely Short Bus. I have to pre-read his comments before we get into it, guys. But two more coaches that we are going to be discussing here in a second. Like I said, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you are new here. We really do appreciate everybody stopping by. Look, this is one that I know is going to get the Arizona Wildcat fans a little riled up because they always seem to agree with me on social media. They love my takes. Absolutely.
Yeah, they love you.
Through and through. You might as well just build a statue of me in Tucson at this point. Look, it doesn't have to be a very big statue. I'm only 5'8", so you could really spare the resources here, but you should put it right outside of Arizona Stadium. That's just my 2 cents on that. But let's go ahead. Let's see what I gave Brent Brennan in his new role at the Arizona Wildcats. It's a C+. It is, and I'll be honest with you, the worst grade of the 4 that we're going to be talking about. And Brent Brennan has a difficult task, okay? Because for his entire coaching career as a head coach at San Jose State, what have they been? Middle of the pack. They've been average. 2017, 2-11. In 2018, 1-11. 2019, 5-7. 7-1 in 2020, that was COVID year. Lost the Arizona Bowl. 2021, 5-7. 2022, 7-5. 2023, 7-6. You're average. You're average. A C is what? It's a passing grade. I teach at Arizona State. You get the job done, you meet the minimum requirements, you get a C. You go above and beyond, then we can start talking about a B and an A. But Brent Brennan, what has he done so far? What has he done so far to prove that he is going to be a high-level coach, that he's going to keep up with what Jedd Fisch did at Arizona? Now, I know there's immediately going to be people saying he retained a lot of the key talent. Noah Fafita, T-Mac. How much of that was Brent Brennan? How much of that was conversations that they had with Brent Brennan? And how much of it
was boosters?
Exactly. How much of it was A, boosters, and B, had nothing to do with Brennan.
The snake that left.
Exactly. And more so to do with, hey, we can win here. We want to stay here. We got something to prove here. That has nothing to do with Brent Brennan at all. And look, I am not entirely sold on Brennan yet. The same way Wildcat Field says it in the chat.
A reasonable one.
You can't be sold on it yet, right? Jedd Fisch at Washington, you can at least have that conversation, right? Because you saw what he did. He won. He turned a program around from shit to stars, right? Washington, Kalen DeBoer to Alabama. Okay, we can start talking about that, right? Great coach. He wins everywhere he goes. Brent Brennan, where's he been? What's he done? Middle of the pack. Been average. And now, I've said it multiple times, it is awesome for Arizona Wildcat fans that you retain Noah Fafita and T-Mac, 2 great college football players, likely first-round pick talent. But Brennan has the most pressure to succeed out of, I would say, these 4 coaches. Jedd Fisch, probably an equal amount, right? But Brent Brennan is responsible now for going to the Big 12 with the rival, with Colorado, with Utah, and competing immediately. There isn't a drop-off that you're allowed to have because you retained your 2 key players. You aren't allowed to have this is our build year. It is Arizona fans, the good, the bad, and the ugly, all think that Arizona belongs in the AP Top 25. They all belong that Arizona should be competing for a CFP spot. Well, Brent Brennan, you better get ready to race, buddy, because when you hit this new conference, teams aren't going to be taking it easy on you. And all you've done at San Jose State, you've been here. You've been here. And Arizona fans, they got a taste of this, right? Have you seen Suits, right? Well, there's a scene in Suits where Harvey Specter, right? The key attorney in New York, he's big hotshot, and he's talking to his associate. And he's like, there's people here, and I like to live up here, right? Well, Brent Brennan, you've been here, and Arizona fans just got a taste of what's up here. And they'll kill you in Tucson. They will run you out of town quick if you don't win.
I mean, for better or for worse, they're an extremely passionate fan base.
Absolutely.
And they will let you know.
They got to win. You got to win fast. That's why Brent Brennan is getting the grade that he is getting. But finally, one other coach that I do want to get into, just in terms of another grade, that is San Jose State's new coach, Niumatalolo, the former Navy coach. Hasn't been at Navy for a few years, but I really, really liked what Ken was able to do with Navy. He's the winningest coach in that program's history. Career record of 109 and 83. He has coached a lot of football games, and he's doing it realistically at a place that didn't always get a ton of talent, right? You kind of got your hands tied when you're coaching at one of those military schools, Navy, Army, etc., right? Air Force. Like, you are always going to be dealt a little bit more of a tricky hand. You're never going to see those military schools really in the AP top 25. But I like what Ken was able to do. Again, the winningest coach in that program's history. And a big thing about what he was able to do at Navy is the years that he was there, they went bowling a lot. They went bowling in 07, 08, 09, 10. They went bowling in 2012, 2013,
this is
2014,
all running the triple option.
2015, 2016, 2017, 2019. And you're right, they did it with just running the triple option. So imagine what he's able to do now. Goes to San Jose State. They're going to open up the playbook. Can open up the playbook, and we can actually get some athletes there. I am interested to see just how fast the turnaround is. And again, we've talked about San Jose State being middle of the pack average. Does Ken raise that bar? Potentially. I think he does. But we'll obviously see as the season goes on. Wildcat Phil's in the chat. You got to revisit your grades at the end of next season, though. Absolutely. Absolutely. You could even make
There's
those.
one thing you do. It's you'll own up.
Oh yeah. If I miss on something, I will absolutely own up to it. I will absolutely own up to it. It doesn't happen often though. It doesn't happen often. Okay. But when I miss badly, like Nick Young when he pulled that 3 and turned around before it went in. I do that from time to time, and I'll take the heat for it. But until we get to that point, those are my grades. We'll recap them just one more time all the way through. Jedd Fisch to Washington gets an A-. Then we've got Kalen DeBoer to Alabama, gets a B. Brent Brennan to Arizona gets a C+. And then Niumatalolo gets a B- to San Jose State. Guys, again, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're going to continue talking college athletics here. We're going to move on, talk about ASU hoops. I know there is a lot of people, JJ specifically, in the chat that wants to get into this conversation about ASU basketball. And we will. But first, I want to tell you guys about Game Time. I know there is a ton of people that obviously love college sports. We spent our time talking about the coaching changes, talking about the highly anticipated college football season that will be next year. Okay? And if you want to get tickets to those games, heck, if you want to get tickets to the Super Bowl, you want to get tickets to maybe some NBA, great games on the slate, Game Time is the place to do it, guys. I personally have already used Game Time 3 separate times already in 2024, and we just hit February. Okay? Look, snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code PHNX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply again. Create an account and redeem code PHNX for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Okay, Game Time is going to help you guys save money. They're going to get you affordable and awesome tickets with their app. And look, while we're talking saving money, Circle K does that too. And they're going to help you do it every single day with their new free membership program, Inner Circle. Save 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups, and then save 3 cents per gallon every single day after that. Get every sixth free on a selection of Circle K products. We're talking pizza, coffee, ice cold fountain drinks, not to mention I got up really, really early this morning. 4:30, I was out the house, okay? Had stuff to do.
What?
Had stuff to do.
What did you have to do?
I had to take company to the airport. I was running around. I went to the gym this morning. Circle K, that's where I stopped. 5 o'clock this morning on my way back from the airport for an energy drink, and it's got me still going. Now, I may need to stop by for energy drink number 2 at Circle K, and that's easy to do because they're only a couple dollars at Circle K. And if energy drinks aren't your thing, they have deals on snacks and everything under the sun. Check it out, guys, and join Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Just visit CircleK.com for details. Look, I know there's a lot of Wildcat fans. We got ASU fans in the chat. I love the daily territorial cup that happens in the YouTube chat. It quite literally is my favorite part of the day to see just you guys go head to head. Some of you guys get really creative in the comments with your distaste for both Arizona and Arizona State. But we are going to talk Arizona State basketball here because, look, let's go. Let's throw up the Bobby board. Let's throw up the Bobby board so everybody can get an idea of what's gone on with Arizona State basketball. You're going to have to, buddy. It's been a rough slate for the Arizona State Sun Devils and Bobby Hurley. They have now lost, guys, 6 of their last 7. Only win came against USC, who is at the bottom of the Pac-12 standings. Recently, Arizona State has lost to Oregon, Oregon State, Stanford, and Cal. The losses aren't getting better. They're not losing to better teams. Okay? They're losing to either equal or worse competition. The Arizona State Sun Devils have the longest losing streak in the conference as it stands right now. Again, losses to Oregon, Oregon State, Stanford, and Cal. This is a bad basketball team. There is only one starter shooting above 30% from 3. Only one, and it's Jose Perez, who, by the way, didn't play the second half.
Does not take a bunch of threes.
No, doesn't take a lot of threes and didn't play the second half on Saturday. That tells you where Arizona State basketball is right now. They've got the second fewest points per game in the conference, 68.9. 68.9 points per game. The worst field goal percentage in the conference, the worst three-point percentage in the conference, the worst free throw percentage in the conference, the worst rebounding total in the conference, the second fewest offensive rebounds in the conference. What does that say? Does it say maybe something needs to change? Well, is it the players? The players change every fucking year, right? The transfer portal, NIL. Is this the best Arizona State can do? Because that's what I've heard. That's what I've heard for the last few seasons. Every time we get to this point in the year, and I'm going to get fired up about it because it's bullshit. Every single year when we get to this point of Pac-12 play, where the Sun Devils start their skid, their yearly Sun Devil skid in conference play, what do we say? Oh, well, this is just kind of what Bobby's teams do. Can ASU do better than Bobby Hurley? Well, should you at least try?
Yes.
Should you at least try?
Especially if the rumors are true.
Shouldn't you at least try? Right? Because I'm tired of that narrative, man. I'm tired of that damn narrative that ASU can't do better than Bobby Hurley. And I'm not saying that this whole shit show that is this season is on Bobby, because it's not. It's not on Bobby all the way. Okay? There are players that play the game that aren't playing well, and they haven't played well all season. Okay? They're wasting, arguably, one of the best defensive seasons in program history with Frankie Collins, who is going to shatter the single-season steal record at Arizona State. Going to shatter it. Averaging the most steals in the conference per game. It is embarrassing to watch Arizona State basketball right now. And we have people in the chat, right, asking, oh, you guys don't do post-game shows for ASU basketball. Well, and look, part of it, again, has nothing to do with the team. But let's talk about the team. Let's talk about the post-game shows for Arizona State basketball for a second, because when the Sun Devils score 55 points in a game and they lose to double digits to Cal, to Stanford, to Oregon State, do you as a fan want to watch that? Is that something you want to talk about? The same thing again and again? If I have a reoccurring nightmare every fucking day, do I want to tell you about it every day? Do you want to listen to it every day? Or do you want to ignore it? Do you want to change it? Do you want to evolve and figure it out? Move past it, right? That's what Arizona State basketball is right now. Every single Thursday and Saturday, it's a reoccurring nightmare. The Arizona State basketball team can't score. Do you know the one thing in sports that you need to do if you want to win? You have to fucking score. And what I just tell you, they score worse than everybody else in every category. They're not good. They're not good. Part of that is the team. Part of that is the coaching. Part of that is the facilities. Part of that is Arizona State basketball, the program. Change it or don't expect fans to give a shit. Because that's what you're saying, right? That's what you're saying as a program. If this year over year from the athletic department is, hey, this is the best we can do. Really? That's the best you can do? The best you can do is the worst at everything? That's what you're telling me, right? That's what you're saying. And JJ is, like I said, JJ is a diehard ASU basketball fan. Diehard. In here every day talking ASU hoops, right? It's crazy to me. And it's crazy to me because, like I said, he's following, and everybody here that's an ASU fan is following a program that, as it stands right now, doesn't really care about the product. They don't. It looks like a team that's given up on itself. And at the start of the season, what was it? It was a team that didn't even know how to be a team. So here you are, February 5th, 2024. This team's on a 4-game losing streak. Like I said, you will have the worst field goal percentage, the worst three-point percentage, and the worst free throw percentage of anybody else in this conference. Well, is it time to move on from Bobby Hurley? Is it over? Is it done? Is the Hurley era over in Tempe? Should it be? Can we put that poll in the chat? I know we've done it on a post-game show before, but let's go ahead and add that poll to this chat. Do you guys think Bobby Hurley should be fired? Yes or no? 1 year into a new extension, making him realistically the coach that will lead Arizona State into the Big 12, the basketball conference, mind you, that currently, without the addition of Arizona, Colorado, and Utah, already has 5 teams in the AP top 25. Houston, Arizona, that's going to be in there, and Kansas, all in the top 10. And you're telling me this team at DFA that two of the last three seasons has averaged the 11th fewest, right? They sit 11th in Pac-12 points per game. They did it. They're doing it this year, and they did it the year before last, 11th. Not great, man. Not great. And I know there are rumors that we've already talked about on this show that potentially Arkansas's Must Bus would consider coming to Arizona State, already putting out feelers to potentially be a Sun Devil coach. Tell me, is that worse or better? Would you rather have Muss? Would you rather have Hurley? I think there are pros and cons. You know already what you're getting with Bobby. I know there's people that are diehard ASU fans that sit and they love to talk about what would have happened in the 2020 season. And we're 2024, man. We're almost a half decade past 2020. It's time to stop talking about what would have, could have, should have happened years ago. You live now. The Pac-12's over after this year. This is how you're going out. You're going out as a laughingstock. How do you go into the Big 12? Do you continue that? Are you the running joke? Are you a comedian traveling from Texas City to Texas City to get your ass kicked time and again on the hardwood? Are you? Or are you going to try something new offensively? Try something new. Okay? Tighten the leash. Something has to change. at Arizona State for this basketball program to be good? Whether it's the system, whether it's the caliber player, whether it's the NIL, whether it's the facilities, whether it's the athletic director, whether it's the coach. I don't care. Right now, it seems like they're all one stinky-ass ingredient into the world's shittiest meal. You've got to figure it out. Something has to change. You got to figure it out. JJ in the chat, can you fire a head coach without an AD? Well, in theory, Michael Crow can make that decision.
You can hire one and then fire AD.
Michael Crow can make that decision. Absolutely. The interim athletic director can make that decision with approval. Will they? I don't think so.
Sharon makes a good point. Like, you can't question whether Bobby Hurley cares about
No, absolutely not. And that's not what I'm doing.
No, and that's the thing. Like, you so badly want this to work.
Yeah.
But we're at 8 seasons now. Like, what do we have to show for it? How long can you wait?
That's what it is. I actually had a conversation with my little brother this morning. Called me on my way to work. It was like, oh, is there something with ASU basketball today? Like, is there a game? I'm like, no. We don't even really talk ASU basketball a whole lot. He's like, oh, why? Like, they're bad. They're really bad. He's like, what's up with it? He's like, do you think they're going to make a coaching change? I'm like, well, as it stands right now, I think they should. And I have been really, really conscious to not go out and say that I think Bobby Hurley should be let go as the coach for Arizona State. Because we've had Bobby on the show. Bobby's a great person.
This poll might surprise you.
Bobby's a great person, right? I think when it comes time to the product, if you're an ASU fan and this is what you want year over year, if you truly believe that Bobby is the guy for this program, I have one question. What makes you think that? And that's like genuinely, what have you seen that makes you believe that Bobby Hurley can carry Arizona State into the Big 12 and they can compete at Desert Financial Arena with Arizona, Kansas, Houston, Kansas State, Baylor, Texas Tech? What makes you believe it? Couple first 4 appearances? Really? That's why you're there? That's why you're on the Bobby train? I think Bobby is a passionate coach. I think there is a handful of coaches in college basketball, maybe college athletics, with the passion and the fire that Bobby Hurley has. And that is, you've seen it, that alone can spark Hurley's teams to play well, to get arenas to go nuts for what they see. But at a certain point, passion and fire is not enough. What's the result of that poll, Jacob?
15 votes. 53% say no.
That it's not time to fire Hurley.
Correct. However,
I wonder how many Arizona fans...
I was going to say, there are quite a few Arizona fans who are probably voting in favor of this because, they like seeing us suffer.
Yeah. Very interesting. BCat in the chat, Bobby is not the number one problem, maybe number 3 on the list. My question to you as a Wildcat fan, which I know you are, what would problem 1 and 2 be? Short bus in the chat.
Facilities.
Yeah, I don't think that's one.
No, but I would imagine that he's putting facilities in the president above
potentially
Bobby.
Potentially. Short bus, tired of the, quote, build a team through the transfer portal and hope they click story. Yeah, we've seen it. And part of that is NIL, which, again, goes back to facilities. It's the entire Arizona State basketball program is a mess right now. It is a mess. You need to fix it. And BCat saying correct to your point about facilities and Crow being 1 and 2. Well, last I checked, Michael Crow doesn't coach the basketball team. He's not there during practices. He's not there recruiting players. He's not there installing the offensive system. He's not there getting texts on the hardwood. So maybe as Arizona State athletics goes, you can argue Crow is an issue.
No, if he lands Koa Pete, do you change your mind?
Do I change my mind?
If he lands Koa Pete, like Lou Dort was a guy, right?
Yeah.
Lou Dort was a really highly thought of guy. Koa Pete is that guy.
He is. But this is again, my question to that would be, what is the most you get at him? Because out of Lou Dort was a dog. Out of the guys that ASU...
Lou Dort was the best defensive player I watched.
And where did Arizona State go?
Yeah, it's a great point.
So you can have these great players.
I was there when they stormed the court against Kansas, but regular season moments out of conference, they're fun, but they don't, like, at the end of the day, how far did you go?
You have to win. You have to win. And this program has not really ever won. They've never won the Pac-12 tournament. Mind you, this is the last Pac-12 tournament you're going to get. They haven't won it. And by all accounts, this year doesn't look like it's the year of firsts for the Sun Devils. If you land Koa Pete, can you ask yourself a realistic question of where do we go? Does Koa Pete by himself take us to the Sweet 16? Because Bobby hasn't done it. And again, I am not trying to say that Bobby is a bad basketball coach. That is not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is right now, it's not working. It's not working, and it hasn't worked for a while, okay? Think of it like a relationship, right? You've got the ASU basketball program and Bobby Hurley. They're two separate entities. It was fun when it first started. It was new, okay? There was excitement. The offense was moving. They were 1 through 4 in points per game for the first how many years? At a certain point, you're talking about a team that was almost number 1 in the nation, the last undefeated team in Division I basketball. The relationship was clicking. It was fireworks. This is the person that you're going to get married to. This is the coach that you're going to have for 25 to 30 years. And it kind of falls apart. It's not working anymore. The same shit. Doesn't hit the same. You're getting out-coached. You're getting outplayed. You're getting out-recruited. You're getting outperformed. And maybe it's time for these two great separate things to go their separate ways and try and be great in different ways. Because right now, it's not working. Koa Pete, if he comes, regardless, I think it might be time to make a change. But the chat has spoken, so we will leave ASU basketball on that. If you do want to bet on ASU basketball, there's a great place to do it. It's called the BetMGM Sportsbook app, and they've still got a great deal for you guys to take advantage of. Download the BetMGM Sportsbook app on iOS or Android, or visit BetMGM.com. Sign up and deposit at least $5 into your newly created account and place a wager in the amount of at least $5 at standard odds price. And once you've placed a bet, you will receive $158 in bonus bets, regardless of the outcome of your wager, guys. Sign up for BetMGM and use that bonus code PHNX. Right now is the perfect time to bet. You've got Super Bowl props. The NBA is in full swing. NHL, I believe, is coming back here in just a couple of days. Also, college basketball, like we said. Great things, great games to bet on as well. Again, sign up for BetMGM. Use that bonus code PHNX. Place your first BetMGM Sportsbook wager through BetMGM Sportsbook mobile app for at least $5, and you will receive $158 instantly in additional winnings, regardless of your wager's outcome. Check out the show notes for full details. And Allison and Damon talk about the disclaimer.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus to wager. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help Michigan. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Visit BetMGM.com for terms. This promotional offer is not available in New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico.
Guys, and when you make some of that money and you win and you need a new place to put it, how about Desert Financial Credit Union? Desert Financial, the official retail banking partner of Arizona State University, and they've been doing it for more than 84 years. They've been Arizona's largest, most trusted local credit union, and they're dedicated to creating exceptional experiences by giving back to the community and providing financial solutions that make lives better. If you're an Arizona sports fan, there's no better place to do your banking than Desert Financial Credit Union. It's the only place you could show your team spirit every time you make a purchase with exclusive debit cards branded with your favorite teams. Bring the boom and get fired up with the Arizona State University Visa debit card. Now is the time to show your ASU team spirit. Open a free checking account online and get $200 plus your choice of 3 Arizona State University Visa debit cards. Go to desertfinancial.com/ASU to get started. JJ in the chat. More minutes to Celebunge. We need more Celebunge. I'll say no more. Yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be really, really interesting to see Arizona State basketball moving forward. Because, again, let's throw up the Bobby board one last time just to take a look at what Arizona State has on deck. You've got Colorado, Utah, Oregon State, and Arizona. We know the Sun Devils have already beaten Colorado, and Utah. Two very, very fun games for the Sun Devils. They lost to Oregon State, and we know what Arizona is as a program. I believe they have now gone up to number 8 in the AP Top 25, so it is certainly doesn't really get any easier for the Sun Devils in their next 4 games. We do have a super chat from Matt Risson, $4.99. I appreciate you. ASU should fired head coach, lose to Calford. Both teams suck. Can you make sense of that for me?
Yeah, losing to Cal and Stanford, both teams suck. They should fire
both teams suck.
Hurley.
Both teams, yeah. So Matt thinks that the Sun Devils should fire Hurley. I'll listen to it, man. I'll listen to it. Now, last note on Hurley. If let's say you do make a move, do you do it midseason?
No, it's probably coming after the season.
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's probably the logical thing to do. I don't think this team gets better midseason by firing the coach. I think you just kind of ride it out. And for ASU fans, like I said, it stings and it hurts and it sucks. But I've said it before. The sun will shine again for the Arizona State Sun Devils, the same way that it has shown for other programs here in the Pac-12. But while we're talking about the conference, let's go ahead, get into this week's Pac-12 power rankings. Look, this is why it gets so damn tough to start talking Arizona State and then go into power rankings, because you know who's number 1? It's the Arizona Wildcats. The Arizona Wildcats are the number 1 team in the Pac-12, and I don't think you can make an argument for anybody else.
This conference sucks.
It does suck. I said it earlier this morning, but Arizona's won 5 of their last 6. Their only loss came to a not great Oregon State team, but they bounced back, beat Oregon on the road, took care of business against Cal and Stanford. They're on the road versus Utah and Colorado. Caleb Love and company and Umar Ballo are really starting to figure it out for them this season. I've got Washington State. Washington State up to 2. They're moving up simply because of what they've been able to accomplish recently in this conference. Washington State, guys, I don't know if you knew this, 16-6 on the season. That is the second most wins in this conference behind only Arizona. They're 11-1 at home, and they're on a 3-game win streak. Washington State is getting hot at the right time. Oregon does fall. Okay, they fall from 2 to 3. I still think that Oregon is a NCAA tournament team, but I would like to see them really start to take care of some of these worst teams in the conference. But like Jacob said, it's not a great basketball conference this season. Colorado, they're at 4. Utah stays put at 5. Stanford, they split. They lost to Arizona, but they beat Arizona State. And kind of by default, because this conference is really, really bad, they do move up. Now, Stanford, 8-3 at home, 11-10 on the season. It is weird that we have an 11-10 team right now sitting that high in these Pac-12 power rankings, specifically because this conference is known for doing great things collegiately when it comes to college basketball. Oregon, Arizona, UCLA, USC. Like Jervis says in the chat, it's weird seeing USC where they are in those rankings. Let's go ahead, get back into what we've got right after Stanford. Guys, we've got Cal at 7. I never thought I'd see the day. I never thought I'd see the day that Cal basketball would get this high. Look, they're 9-13 on the season. They are not a good basketball team, okay? But again, because this is such a bad conference, Cal has found ways to get it done. Not to mention, if you haven't watched Cal basketball this season, Jalen Tyson averaging 20 points a game, 7 boards, a steal, 3 assists. He's kind of going crazy this season for the Cal Bears. UCLA, they're on the rise. They move up 3 spots. The Bruins are on a 3-game win streak as it stands right now in conference play. I do believe, unless I'm mistaken, that is the longest win streak in conference play as it stands right now, tied with Washington State and Arizona for 3 in a row. Mick Cronin's starting to finally figure it out this season. Washington at 9, Oregon State at 10, Arizona State falling 5 spots, the biggest losers of the week, falling to number 11. My goodness, it was a difficult weekend for the Arizona State Sun Devils. We already talked about the Sun Devils, okay? We talked about what's going wrong, the 4-game skid, the longest in the conference. They're shooting worse at every major category than everybody else. Arizona State's got to figure it out, man. Got to figure it out. And then, yes, we do have Bronny James Jr. and company and the USC Trojans as the worst team in the Pac-12. USC, 9-13 on the season, 3-8 in Pac-12 play, and they are atrocious on the road, guys. They are 1-6. 1-6 away from home. They have their most recent game, they took care of Oregon State. Their games before that, lost to Oregon, lost to UCLA, lost to Arizona State, lost to Arizona, lost to Colorado, lost to Washington State. This is a difficult season for USC. How bad? How bad has it been? Well, after that Oregon game, before the Oregon State game, that was the longest losing streak since the 2014-2015 season for the Trojans. That's how bad of a season it's been for USC. Guys, head to the comments. Let me know what you think of this week's Pac-12 Power Rankings. Share it in the chat. Petition to bring in hockey to the podcast. It's more fun to talk about. Could end the show on a happy note after talking about basketball. We could, and maybe we will start to make that adjustment. Always up for suggestions.
It's also baseball season.
It is. Baseball season is starting to come. We've also got spring football. Spring football is just a little over a month away. So definitely a lot to get into. If you are an Arizona State football fan and you didn't check out the latest positional breakdown episode I did over the weekend, kind of breaks down the Arizona State quarterbacks, about a 15-minute episode talking about Jaden Rashada, Sam Leavitt, Trenton Bourguet, kind of how I see that entire quarterback battle really shaping and starting to get kicked off in the spring. So definitely take a listen to that. I did bring up Sharon talking about hockey. Love suggestions, guys. If you have any suggestions for the show, always up to discuss them. A great place to do that is in the Die Hard Discord. So you do got to go over to gophnx.com, click that Die Hard tab, sign up to become a Die Hard. Not only are you going to get access to that Die Hard Discord, where there are people like Sharon, Shortbus, Donald, always talking about ASU in the chat. Very similar to this YouTube chat, except it is going 24/7, 365. And if you're not just an ASU fan, I know we have a lot of Wildcat fans in here as well. There's a chat for Arizona, the Coyotes, the Suns, the Diamondbacks. We have it all. Even if you're just a college sports fan or just a sports fan in general, highly, highly consider that Die Hard membership. It really does pay for itself, not just from the Die Hard Discord, but you are going to get exclusive Die Hard content. You guys are going to get discounts on merch, events, and unlock some really, really cool content. Again, go phnx.com, hit that Die Hard tab, and there is a beautiful explanation of all of the amazing things that you are going to get. And if you don't take my word for it, just ask all the lovely Die Hards that we do have in the chat. Again, Sharon, Donald, Shortbus, they are always going off in our Die Hard Discord. And we will end the show on a happy note. But first, before we get to the final thing that I have for you guys, I want to tell you about our friends over at Sun Burros. Look, we had Sun Burros a couple weeks ago. They brought it into the office. It was my first time actually having Sun Burros, and I'm used to just getting like tacos, burritos, those bowls, which they all have. But I was surprised at how amazing the chimis and the taquitos were. I haven't had those in such a long time, and they go beautifully with the hot sauce that Sun Burros has, guys. It is a family-owned and operated restaurant, and it was voted Arizona's most loved Mexican restaurant. Even if you're not going for just like a dinner or lunch, maybe you're trying to cater for your Super Bowl party, Sun Burros does that too. You could try their popular Fiesta platter, and it's loaded with red and green chili beef mini chimis, taquitos, chips, guac, and their famous hot sauce. Check out their newest locations in Goodyear, Peoria, and I-17 in Joe Max, or visit sunburros.com to find one near you. Let Sun Burros cater your next big meal or small. Order online or find one near you by visiting sunburros.com. And let's say you're having some burros, you're eating it on your couch, you're having a beautiful old time, right? You've got their award-winning hot sauce, okay? And what do? You get up, you go to your kitchen, but wait, you spilled. You spilled all over your floors, all over your clean floors. But guess what? Your floors kind of needed to be replaced anyways, right? They're kind of old, kind of dirty. So who do you call when you need some new floors, guys? It's Empire Today. Empire Today, they pride themselves on convenient shop-at-home service, and they help customers shop for floors where they use their floors so they can see exactly what their new floors will look like in their homes, lighting and decor, and all. Empire Today's virtual floor designer is a great way to see how those new floors are going to look in your space. It's easy. Just snap a picture and instantly see how those new floors are going to look in your room, okay? Schedule a free in-home estimate today, and all listeners can receive a $300 $350 off discount when they use that promo code PHNX. Again, all listeners can receive a $350 off discount when they use the promo code PHNX. Restrictions apply. See empiretoday.com/PHNX for details. Now, look, I did say that we're going to end on a happy note. And you know what kind of happy note we're going to be ending on, Jacob? It's a happy birthday. It's a happy birthday to Arizona State's very own muscle hamster himself. It's Cam Scadaboo's birthday, guys. The best offensive weapon. Huh?
Sing to him.
You want me to sing happy birthday to him? Can we get our music? Can we get our... No, we can't.
I mean, which... You want
will you sing with me? Will you sing with me?
I mean... No, but do you want the win music? Is that what you want?
Yeah, let's do the...
You want closing time? What do you want?
Oh, yeah, let's do the closing time.
Okay.
Closing time music. This is me singing happy birthday to the one, the only, Cam Scadaboo. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Scat. Happy birthday to you. Guys, we appreciate you. If you enjoyed the content, give us a follow at PHNX_Sun Devils. You can follow me at Anthony_Totri. You can follow DJ Jacob Franklin at Jacob_Franklin4. Head to social. Wish Scat a happy birthday. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button on your way out. And we will see you guys tomorrow. But in the meantime, go Devils. And peace.
We all silly like the mayor.